New York City is undergoing a very interesting change right now. It's a new project by the housing development people, Vicky Bean. Now, what she's suggesting is that 80,000 new units and new affordable housing units be created, and 120,000 pre-existing ones be preserved, meaning repaired, upgraded to meet standards, etc. Now, what she's suggesting is that they be mixed. Like, this is coming from New York City Council, to mix poor and wealthy people, or really what they mean is like really low income people and higher income people, that the mixing of these two communities will have such benefit. What this benefit is, they're not exactly making clear. They're not specifically stating what this is. Now, this isn't a new thing that's being done. I mean, this has been done before. This has been done in Toronto. This has been done in other large cities where they like to take concentrations of poverty, meaning that's what the market does. When you don't have a lot of money, you can't spend a lot of money on housing. So you end up having housing for wealthy people and housing for poor people, because that's the reality of class society. Now, in an attempt to, I think a lot of them say, disrupt the negative effects of poverty, usually meaning the crime rate, they like to mix higher and lower income people. We make affordable housing areas in wealthier areas to try to disperse that poverty and break it up. And I'm not saying this is their plan, but I'm saying this is usually the plan that's given when this kind of program is offered. There is absolutely no doubt that more affordable housing is needed. There's absolutely no question in this regard. There is a huge lack of affordable housing, especially given the economic climate that most of the country is still in, which would affect large cities as well. But what really is the point of all this? Like, what are they like really driving at? This is one of those like really liberal ideas. If we just break up poverty and just mix people, then poverty will go away, or poverty won't have as much of an effect. I mean, or really, you could just turn around and just end the system that keeps causing poverty, but they are liberals and they don't want to do that. They want these kind of nice, soft, non-revolutionary ways of dealing with a problem that they have absolutely no way of dealing with. I mean, there's a long history of this kind of idea being pushed and what it really means. One of the things about it is that they're trying to give it this kind of anti-class kind of program to it. Like, they're trying to show, okay, look, here's the upper class and the lower class, and we can both live together in peace. It's not a big deal. We're both in the same neighborhood. Therefore, your ideas of class conflict really aren't true, because we're both living in the same area, right? So therefore, your hostilities or your antagonisms between classes aren't something that's really real. It's just something that's in your head. Because you see, we can all get along. We can all live together. So those antagonisms that exist between classes, don't really exist. Which is, of course, absolutely untrue. And this is one of those things that is designed by the upper classes to try to make us think that we can live peacefully side by side in the same class, or peacefully side by side in the same neighborhoods, and that our class differences don't really mean anything. And of course, that's false. There's also a great example of contradictions among the capitalist class with this program. I mean, clearly when you take poor people and you move them into the same neighborhood as rich people, or you create affordable housing in the same neighborhoods of, upper middle class people, they're not going to like it. Because the existence of low-income housing lowers the property values of all the properties surrounding it, which means there's a lot of, upper middle class or wealthy people who are going to complain about this, because their property values are going to go down. So they're not going to want these people to move in. There is, on the other side of that, some upper class people who recognize what they feel is the necessity to do this, to try to, allay a lot of the class antagonisms that exist and to lessen that hostility between classes. So to them, it's a rational plan. And then there's all the capitalists that are going to make money off of this. I mean, 80,000 housing units, somebody's going to be paying to build all those, and they're probably not going to be city workers. They're going to be contractors. People are going to be contracted. Private companies are going to get a lot of money to build 80,000 units, not to mention things like cement and all the supplies that go into it. And they're going to back this all the way because they want all the money for the sale of all those resources. So we do see an antagonism even among the upper class people. Some of them want it because it's to their benefit, and some of them, they don't want it because it's not to their benefit. In the end, I don't think this is actually going to do anything, and historically, it hasn't achieved what it is that it wants, because what ends up happening is that with the housing divide between rich and poor, which is created by the market, and the poverty and the wealth divide also created by the market, ends up continuing the same thing. So people with money are going to move away from these decreased home values, which are caused by the market, and then the property values are going to go down, and poor people are going to be able to afford those places and move in. So it also becomes a low-income area. All of this is clearly being created by the market, and the market is just going to reinforce that. This liberal idea of having us live side by side between those we are in antagonism with isn't going to work. It's not going to accomplish what it is that they think it's going to accomplish. Again, this is that liberal idealism that if we just think better things, or we just change things in a nice way, that things are going to get better. It's not true. It does not work that way. By trying to move poor people next to rich people, you're not going to convince them that they're their friends, or that, you know, we're all in this together in capitalism. You need us, we need you. It's some kind of symbiotic relationship between the capitalist and the worker. That's not going to do that. We all know that's not true. Even the capitalists don't believe that. But this plan, while it's good that it's going to create housing for people who need it, it's not going to have the desired effect that I think the New York City Council thinks it's going to have. Thank you for watching. Please comment and rate the video. If you liked it, hit subscribe or check out some of these other great videos. If you wish, share it on social media. While you're at it, why don't you follow me on Twitter? And if you got time, go on over to the MRN bookstore and check out some of the latest books available.